Good morning, all. Good to see you. All right. Cool, let's begin. So finding both our physical seat with our skin, our bones, our muscles. Reaching and sinking the pelvic bones down toward the earth. Expressing the feet subtly so the bones just uncollapse, they move, they spread just slightly. Your foot can still have this suppleness to it. And we find the seat of our being, the ground of our being. It's helpful to go locationally, so the core of our body and with our breath. To feel force, breath moving in and through this vertical filament of space. All the way to the crown of the head. For our practice this morning, I offer just ongoing fascination. Right? How do I remain engaged and fascinated in all of this extraordinary occurrence? The play of energy, the play of our attention, the play of this light and this fullness and these emptiness moments, these timeless moments. So fascinated. We'll work alternate nostril breathing. I'm going to select a left hand for now. And I'll be working in a 1 to 3 to 2 ratio. Again, 1, 3, 2. So the hold is the longest. Okay. The ratio is just a framework. No strain. No strain breathing is our priority. The ratio is simply a framework. So when you're ready, we'll begin at our own pace, and we'll just ensure we get several rounds in. So without any further guidance from me, we'll begin alternate nostril breathing. We try to make the breath do a thing. I find that we often lose a sense of that fascination and that wonder. So we'll finish the round that we're on and we'll do one more. Then, of course, take a few moments to just gently reestablish Ujjayi breath, as that may feel differently than when we began. And feel the skull sitting much more lightly atop the spine. Instead of the head sitting heavily down into the neck structure, feel a quality of suspension, of float, all underneath the base of the skull. And you may find that actually frees up around some areas of the sinus cavities. I actually find I just really enjoy any mental task or visual tasks if that area feels lighter for me. It's just a little aesthetic, a personal aesthetic. All right. Let's switch the cross of our legs. And working with the shoulder joints, inhale the arms out to the side, turn the palms up. So get very broad through the chest, light under the skull. Exhale, turn the thumbs down. So as the palms turn, as the arm bones turn, also gently tipping the chin toward the chest. And that's the move. We'll do a few more. Inhaling is the up or that expansion through the front of the body. Turning the palms up. You can even reach those thumbs slightly back. And exhaling is the downward move. The thumbs turn down, the arm bones turn inwardly. Tipping the chin down. We'll do two more. You start to feel how the simple little head movement actually kind of undulates. It kind of can be felt all the way down through the spine. Finishing up. Staying fascinated. And it's just really simple moves, feeling shoulder joints, feeling spinal joints, spinal muscles. Feeling how the shoulder is implicated in the neck in the shoulder. And place the right hand down, side bend, inhale the left palm away from left sit bone. Exhale, reach to your right, side bend to your right. And the wondrous thing about becoming fascinated in these processes and with all of these artifacts is no solution is required. So if you feel achy or stuck today, you can fascinate on that sense of stuckness. If you feel like, I don't really want to move this way, or this is glorious, this feels so good, you can fascinate on exactly what process is occurring for you. Inhale the left arm up and over. We'll switch directly over to the other side. Left hand down. Taking that right arm up. And side bending to the left. You can fascinate on that sense of inhabiting behind the sternum, the breastbone. If you feel weight in the body, we can fascinate on those felt senses of weight or freedom. The nice thing is it doesn't privilege a kind of a content. You don't have to categorize the content of our body. Just maintaining that childlike, wow, curiosity, right? So when we come upright and adjust the legs, set the right leg out in front, and you may bend the left knee however you like, foot in front of groin or foot behind hip, forward fold. Inhale, we'll draw the arms up and reaching through that right leg, reaching through the heel and the ball mount of the foot. Exhale, reach forward, folding, allowing the neck to soften. And feeling with your breath how widely the lungs and the ribs can move. Fascinating on just how deep of a breath we might enjoy. Inhale, walk the hands back toward your pelvis, uprighting torso. Trade sides. Inhaling, telescope the ribs up, reach with the arms up. Exhaling, fold forward. And inhale, walk hands back, uprighting the trunk. Kind of extricate this right leg. Lie on back. When we do this elbow to knee today, we'll work the version in which we're flexing the foot, internally rotating the leg, or turning the toes inwardly. And when we do these rotations, we're keeping the pelvis on the ground and just liberating the legs somewhat from the pelvis. So there's some independence. So we'll feel for that expressly. Inhale the head and the shoulder blades up. And even though I'm curling the tailbone, the pelvis stays on the ground. It's just a tiny positional shift. Exhale the left leg, reach up, reaching through the heel, rotating the thigh bone in or turning the toes in. I'm just going to add a few little extra reaches and letting that leg recoil so I can feel that there's a little space, a little cushion. There's an almost spring-like or tensile quality in there. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend left knee. We'll keep the shoulders up, which actually helps us maintain the position of the ribs and the hips. Curl tailbone. Exhale the right heel up, right leg up, and rotating that thigh bone inwardly, and then reaching up through the heel, and I'll just let it recoil so I can feel the quality of resilience in the leg today, the tissues. That kind of springy quality or that dry quality. I think those are really cool things to notice. Inhale, bend right knee. We'll continue and curl the tailbone. Exhale the left leg up, leading with the heel, rolling the thigh bone inwardly. I'm just pulsing it up a little bit. Again, my leg, I'm moving with some degree of independence from the pelvis. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend left knee. Curl tailbone, exhale, right heel up, roll thigh bone inwardly, and just pulsing and letting the leg and its weight kind of recoil with gravity. And that recoil and that reach, that kind of springy quality or that buoyant quality is giving me insight into my tissues and my nervous system. Let's do 3 more on each side. Inhale. Curling tailbone. Exhale is the reach, the roll, and just a few little pulsing moves. Getting fascinated with what you feel in the sacrum and the hip socket. Some people may find they feel a space in one hip and an absence of space in another hip. Even feel that little sponginess of that air, that resilience through the knee joint. All right. When that feels complete, turn onto a side and we'll set up for a flash prep. So when we move to elbows and knees, we'll set up our left forearm on the ground, just like dolphin. We'll set up our right hand on the ground in front of our right knee, just in the vicinity. So push the earth. Get a sense of each chest muscle turning on, albeit differently from one another. And then inhale, curl toes under. Keeping that kind of floaty, that light quality under the skull. Exhale the knees off the ground. You may have to reposition the right hand so that you can reach the right elbow toward the right shin. And we'll gently set the knees down so we can switch sides. So set the right forearm down. The left palm placed somewhere around or beside the left knee. Inhaling, softening through the neck structure under the base of the skull. And with toes curled under, exhale. The knees press up. Starting to stretch the hips away from the shoulder. Just getting a little sense of length to the back side of the body. Just one or two more deep breaths. And if you want, Marissa, you can pull that elbow back. You might even want to kind of shuffle the left hand back. Even more. More. There you go. Now when you reach that left elbow back, good. Now lift the hips away from that right elbow. Oh, ha, ha. There you go. Good. Release. We'll set the knees down. Good. So that'll give us a little sense of that wrapping of the shoulders as we slide our hands under our shoulders. Elbows bent slightly. So we're moving into turbo dog. Exhale the knees off the ground and maintaining elbows bent. And deliberately spreading breath through the upper back, spreading the skin and the tissue by flexing all those chest and armpit serratus muscles. Warrior one. Inhale, right foot between the hands. When we draw the arms up, exhale. Again, we'll kind of wrap the shoulders. We're just really giving clearance to that area around the neck. Sinking the tailbone down. Spreading the foot bones lightly. Just so they're not gripping, that's all. And deepening breath, getting fascinated. Again, it's the how. Right? Less so the what, more so the how. And the how is with fascination, with curiosity. So it's really this practice in how we view. So curiosity becomes the very lens by which we're ingesting our experience. It's a wonderful antidote to cynicism, or when things feel staid and rote and gray. Easy twisting warrior. And leave that right arm up. Inhale the left hand down to the ground. And exhaling, I'm going to imagine and play as if I'm rotating those palms up and reaching fingertips away from fingertips. I'm getting that broad, maybe even that stretch quality across the front of the chest. Now, just getting curious. What do I feel behind the chest wall? Is there a sense of labor around the lungs? Is there a sense of freedom in the lungs? Inhale, bring the right hand down. Exhale, chaturanga. We'll step the right foot back. And we'll lower all the way down to the ground. You're welcome to set the knees down. Cobra, reach legs back, reach big toes back. Inhale between the navel and the spine, under the heart, up to that sternal notch and collarbone. Exhale, lower down, downward dog. Reset the hands. Wrapping the shoulders, flexing on those chest muscles as we press back. Now, you're welcome to work turbo dog. I suspect that as we get a little bit into the shoulders and chest, as they're just getting warmed up in these positions, you'll start to feel that engage qualitatively differently after each sequence. So you might want to play with turbo dog, bending the elbows, flexing on the chest and the serratus, and feeling how that whole shoulder girdle and structure engages and now shifts and slides and repositions. It's just constantly calibrating, learning. Oh, I do 2 poses and my whole right half of the body feels different. It's this kind of, it's just really wondrous. Inhale the left foot forward, warrior one. Simple moves, the shoulders aren't getting too much of a rest. Kind of wrapping. Now inhaling into the upper back. Exhale, open up the hands, and as you stretch the fingertips up, send the soles of your feet into the earth. And maybe I just get a little curious. How does breath move in and through those heavier areas? What do I notice there? What do I feel there? Easy twisting warrior. Inhale the right hand down. I'm going to leave that left arm up. And then exhaling as if I'm turning my palms up or externally rotating the shoulder. I get really broad through the chest. And to know what we feel in the chest or the shoulder, we bring our breath there. We test and we feel and we learn with our breath. And the breath gives us totally different clues than thinking does. And interestingly, as we get clearer and clearer what we feel with our breath, we get clearer and clearer with our thinking, because we know when we're thinking and we know when we're feeling. So it's kind of cool that by focusing and dedicating ourselves to what do I sense, what do I feel, that our thinking gets clear. I love you get those little corollary benefits. Inhale that left hand down, exhale, we'll step back, chaturanga. Now whenever your shoulders feel ready, you're welcome to work upward dog. Otherwise, cobra is perfect. Inhale, come up, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, lower downward dog. We're setting up ostrich. Inhale, the right foot forward. So warrior position. I like warrior one for this. Interlace hands behind the back. Lifting the very top of the ribs up, right between the heads of the shoulders. Exhaling, hinge. As the arms continue to lift toward the sky, the base of the skull can softly melt away from the spine. There can be a lot of nerviness around the collarbone. So feel that your breath can reach and explore that sternal notch, the very tops of your ribs, which is really by the collarbone. It's under the collarbone. Now inhale, bring the hands down to the sacrum, clasped, and then unclasp them. set them on the ground. A little foot rearrangement is in order. I'm going to walk my right heel to line up with my left instep. So I'm setting up a more warrior two-like position. I've just narrowed. Right heel aligns with left instep. I'm going to keep this right armpit very close to thigh for interlock warrior. Inhale, reach the chest toward the front of your mat. Press through those feet. Exhale, right arm under right thigh. Left hand behind back. Now, if it works for you a little better to just keep a hand palming the ground, that's perfectly fine. You can still get a lot of chest opening. Sometimes I can maintain a connection to my breath in a much more kind of useful way with a little a little kickstand. There you go. Now, can you still reach the very top of your rib cage with your breath, the upper back? Right in between the heads of the shoulders. Now, when we release, inhale, setting the hands down, shoulder width. We'll exhale and we'll step directly back into turbo dog. Step the right foot back. Broaden apart the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. Tweezing the thumbs together, bending elbows. Lengthen sit bones. Away from armpits, away from collarbone. Right, ostrich, inhale, left foot forward. So I'm taking a warrior one position now, interlacing hands. Exhaling, folding. The chest moves right beside the thigh. Inhaling, bringing the hands down next to the sacrum, then let them go. Place the hands on the ground as we adjust the feet. Again, I'm adjusting my left heel to align with my right instep. With left armpit next to thigh. First, inhale, lift, lengthen the chest away from the right foot. Exhale, left hand under left leg, right hand behind back. So all that internal rotation we did with the legs earlier, you may find that is somewhat back sparing. So my right foot, if I engage that internal rotation, it might make it a lot easier on the tissues around my hip bone, around my waist. So if that feels kind of dry, if that's an area where you're trying not to exacerbate too much, Molly, you might try using that internal rotation of the right thigh bone. You're not turning the hip, you're just turning the thigh bone inside the hip, and then you can adjust and move the hip. And we'll release. Inhale, hands to ground. Exhale, turbo dog with step back. Simultaneously broadening the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. So to broaden the bottom tips of the shoulder blades, you might get this sense of your kind of pushing the earth apart. Yet, you gotta squeeze the thumbs and the forearms toward each other. So there's a both and. Now lift the sit bones away from the collarbones. Inhaling, step the right foot forward and take a very modified lunge. We're setting up a very supported Ekapada. So I just want you to get the hands set, right arm against right shin, palms to ground. So highly modified because I want you to move without risking any shoulder things, any back things. So modified in that, I first will elevate my right heel. I'm just kind of dragging and stepping the left foot closer to my right foot. Now I kind of like this for a few breaths, so I'll be right here for a breath or 3. When you feel you've got a good amount of weight going through that right foot, you may lift the left leg. Stretch that sole of left foot away from the palms. Okay. Gently set that left foot down. Set the left knee down. Okay. Twisting lunge. Inhale, draw the left arm up. Exhale, left arm over right thigh. Twisting lunge interlock. Exhaling the left armpit closer to the right thigh. Passing the right hand behind back. Left hand under thigh. Feel that breath, the deepest areas of your sinus cavities. Feel that breath in the deepest areas of your nose. What's kind of neat is when we can feel that breath kind of penetrating those deeper parts of mask and face and nose, when we feel the breath deeply inside our head space. Right? As if we're deeply smelling the breath. Notice there's some relaxation around the brainstem and the spine. Yeah. Release. Inhale, hands to ground. Exhaling, chaturanga, stepping back, lowering. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Last three poses. Inhale, step left foot forward. It's a very modified, kind of split stance, modified Ekapada. Palms to ground. Left shin to left arm. Elevate the left heel. It's going to rock up. Now from here, it's going to drag my right foot closer to my left foot. Softening through the neck. Draw the right foot off the ground. Now, I'm using both legs extremely strongly. I'm pushing that left foot into the earth as vibrantly as I'm reaching the right foot away from the earth. That's it, Marissa. That's it. That's it. That's it, Molly. So both feet are pushing apart in their kind of respective positions, pushing the soles of the feet apart. That's it. That's it. That's it, Marissa. That's it. That's cool. Inhale the right foot down, the right knee down, twisting lunge. Exhale, right over left, or that's right arm over left leg. Twisting lunge interlock. Exhaling, right armpit near to thigh, left hand behind back. Right arm under left thigh. And let that air, let that breath move all the way into the deepest parts of your nose. Actually sensing your own mask, your own cavities under the eyes, behind the nose. So often when we enter a kind of that state of stiffness or tenseness or vigilance, a lot of the facial structure tends to almost like tense or freeze in a manner of speaking. And so by allowing that breath to penetrate some of those deeper regions of nose, you may have to, it's a sly way of just relaxing some of the facial structure and letting those skull bones move. Our skull bones move as our brain waves change. Okay, we release. Inhale, unwind. Hands to ground. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. And gently set knees down. Let's lie back for Shavasana. If you feel more comfortable in a seated position before you go to Shavasana, that's perfectly fine. Some people just prefer to move into seated meditation. But however you rest, let's rest with hands relaxed and the area under the skull becoming softer, more relaxed. Feeling each breath deeply in the head space, the sinus cavities, the nose. Letting the ears relax. There's nerves and tubes of the ears. And viewing through the lens of fascination. I've never met a person who didn't want to be fascinated. When you're ready, bend knees and help yourself over and up to seated. Namaste.